tablecloth so you get. Oh.
Conway's out there getting a copy.
Doherty in addition cause. It's good to see everybody. Everyone got their cameras set up. Lou, you more or less ready there? Okay. As long as I don't move around too much here. Well, we're waiting for the last couple people to trickle in here. Let's see, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I know most of you, but for those of you who don't, Kevin Doherty in addition cause, Pokagon, Potawatomi Language, Maman Jimbus Nda, let's see, Numja Panuja Zndao, Egipto Yan Oda Jishmoan. My name's Kevin Doherty. I'm a Pokagon band member. I'm also on staff with the Pokagon band, and I'm just a baby when it comes to speaking this language. I use what language I know because I think it's important to use it. If we don't use it, it disappears. It goes away. I've been asked by the organizing committee to take care of a couple things. One is to welcome everybody. On behalf of Pokagon Band, it's good to see everyone here. This is a 4th annual language conference. I think it's a very good thing. And I think the fact that we've had it for 4 years now, I think that speaks to how important it is to our communities. I also wanted to bring up another subject here. The last year's at the gathering last year, that was about that was a couple weeks after the conference last year, and a couple of us were sitting around talking over there at Athens, and it was Lou that actually brought it up. He asked us to sit and think of how many speakers we knew. And we started naming off who we knew, and we came up with about 15, 16 names. And Lou made a good point that it wasn't that that there were people that we didn't know. It was that 15 or 16 is it. Those are our speakers, and every community looks like. Here in Dowagiac, we think, well, there's a dozen more speakers hidden in Kansas, and Forest County thinks there's a dozen more speakers hidden in Dowagiac, and everyone thinks that, but it's not that. Those people that you can think of, that you look at, that you know, those are our speakers. Those are the people that we have. So the time to do something about it is now. It's very important that we act now and take care of it. That we do what we can to get the language saved, that we can do what we can to pass it on to our children, to learn it ourselves, so that we can be teachers for our children. And it also takes money. It takes time, it takes commitment, and it takes an understanding that we're all in it together. We as a group are stronger in this effort than any one of us acting by ourselves or going back to our community with our small group. We all have our small groups, we all have our dozen people that we're working with intently. But when we look around and see each other, we as a group we're stronger, and that's what it's going to take. With our 15 or 16 speakers, it takes all of us working as one group. And we need to take that message to our tribal councils and let our tribal councils know that, one, the councils have to back it locally. There's no more time to play games with it. But the councils have to look beyond Dowagiac. They have to look beyond Athens. They have to look beyond Mayetta. They have to look at it as one big group. We're all in it together, and we all have to act together. And that's something that I'd like to see this group do, is come up with ideas on how we can act together and get this effort to move forward so that we can save the language, so that we can get teaching materials out and teaching efforts out to our communities. So one of my jobs on staff is to do exactly that, is to look at how to put projects together, come up with funding for that. Well, it's not just Pokagon band that has to do that. It's all of our bands acting together. We have to look at this a collective effort, and it's a collective effort that takes a collective political decision by our councils, and it's an effort that takes a collective financial effort by all of our tribes. All of our tribes have to find ways to commit the funds to this effort, and it has to happen soon. Well, as I think we've got the last of our stragglers in. I've passed SEMA to Jim, asked him to say a few words before we start. Wow. The other thing I've been asked to do this morning is to introduce our keynote speaker, Kim Wensaught. I first met Kim about 10 years ago when she was just a young pup coming to the Annabelle language meetings. And Kim has been an inspiration to all of us youngsters who are trying to learn the language, because Kim's actually managed to do it, and it's a great inspiration to all of us to know that it can be done, and to know that the language is living on. So our keynote speaker, Kim Wensaught.
Nabek, Monogishkip? No? No Gishkip, no. Alright. It's a little disconcerting, all the cameras here. Chiwen Moen, Jode Yangom, Wewanet, Ewa Mengo, Jayek Inwa, Nishnabek, Egivi Ewa, Jode. We Kikindas Yakode. Jim was asking me this morning, he said, well, what does a keynote speaker say? Joga kende sin gikado. So I'm not sure. Ibekok, inagaduendam, Oda Jichgayangum. I was thinking about it last night. Nija da kedyan. Joga kendesin, joga kendesin. I start praying about it. Mano show and mission. Shem nado. Get magis bene. Get magis bene dishta. I feel kind of inadequate to be standing up here, and I want to apologize to my elders for speaking before them. I'm sure that there's many of them here that could do a better job than this than me. Bill, Earl, Jim, Mary Daniels is here, Don Perot, Oh, really?
Don't move up to the front.
You hear me now? No? There's always one in the crowd. Probably more than one in this crowd. Miigwech. Anyway, so I was saying, so I was thinking about that last night, what I was going to say this morning, and I apologize to you for not having something prepared. I've kind of been doing things on the fly lately. My life's been pretty busy. But Nawindo Nishnabem Bagaji Nawindo Objito no Dijishmoan Gojimana Madatsogon Gindo Gikinda Sodajishmoan 1996 Gojimana. I started learning about 10 years ago, 1996 or thereabouts. Gimi Gwana Maki, and Dinway Maganik, Gavia Yajik, Namashom Saban, Mina Gichem, Namashom Saban, Namashom Saban, Nabaka Gayawat, Nabaka Gijan Kaze, Mina Nokumis Mesquanquit Yahweh. Jogi VSC Jore Nokumis, Gitche Pitsit, O Yahweh. My grandma is not able to be here. She's not able to travel like she used to. So I was thinking about her last night, and I was thinking about my grandfather, Joika Naken Masio Namashom Saban. Gimbot Wamshe Enigiyan. He passed away before I was born. And I was thinking that was the reason that I started doing this. Nuindo Kenmao Namashom Saban. I wanted to know him and who he was and what he did. And probably a lot of us feel that way about our relatives and our ancestors. And that's why we're here. And that's why we do these things. And I was thinking, why did we all come here, and what is it that brought us here? It's the language. I'm wanting to learn that language, but I think that it's more than that too. And there was this word that kept going through my head last night, and that was Minowido Tadwan, which means togetherness. And literally, that you get along good together, we play good together. I know we play kind of rough sometimes with each other. So I was thinking about the last 10 years, and I wish that I could say everything that I want to say in this language, but I can't. So I just try to use what I do know and throw that in there. And I hope that it makes a difference. I hope that it Kevin gave me a nice introduction about being an inspiration, and as I stand here today, I feel kind of pitiful. I feel like I should know more than I do, and that I should be farther along than I am. But those other parts of learning this language are about each other and about who we are, and that we're here together, and that that's something. I was thinking about that. That really is something, that we're here together, and that we've been here together at these gatherings for 4 years now. I know we all have our differences, think differently, we have different ideas about how we're going to do this, what we want to see, but I believe that our hearts are all in the same place, and we're all on the same page when it comes to that, what we want. I I've talked to a lot of people. I know quite a few of you, and there's some new faces here too, which is good. And I know everybody has some ideas about what is the best way to preserve the language, and how are we going to carry it forward. Nigan bamowadoyak, carrying it forward. And I can honestly say that it all revolves around our speakers. And those are the people that we need to be asking to talk to us. If we were around this language 24/7, we'd all be fluent, I'm sure, in a matter of about a year or two. I know there's good programs out there that work on immersion, and I think some of those people are going to be presenting here. And I was glad to see that there's some new voices here, because I think that immersion is the best way to learn the language, any language. I myself, I kind of saw my role these years as being a documentarian, and just making sure that whatever I documented through writing or through media like this, recordings, that got out to the people, and that they would then decide how they were going to use that, or hopefully that they would put it to some use. And I don't know how well it's worked. I feel like I've been doing this for 10 years and I don't know how well it's worked, because I don't hear anybody speaking it. And I include myself in that. And I'm probably being a little hard when I say that today. But it's frustrating. And I know that it's hard. I hear people say that all the time. It's hard to learn this language. It is. That's not, that's the truth. It is hard. And I thought about it and I thought, well, why wouldn't it be hard? Where we are today, I look at our elders and you can see in their faces and you hear them when they talk, and you know that they're the only reasons that we're standing here today, because of what they did and because they had the strength to survive. And we all know what happened. And we all know how great and negative that impact of that other culture was on us, and how much they didn't want us to be here today. And that was real, and that was intentional. It wasn't an accident that those things were tried to taken away from us. They didn't want there to be Indians today. But we're still here, by the grace of God and the strength of our ancestors. And so I think we need to be grateful for what we have, that we do have. Like Kevin said, those 15 or 16 speakers. To me, that's nothing short of a miracle, considering our history and where that blessing comes from. Shwendaguswan, Mingoswan, Shemnadogao Shitut. Walenek, Jayat Walenek, Shoda Temakit, Shoda Kik, Shemnadogao Shitut. Deboitan Ode. Everything that we have because the Creator gave it to us. The life that we have, this language, the good feeling that we have between each other, as Nishnabek, as relatives. I get so focused on the work, getting things done, as if getting things done was something in itself. And I get kind of impatient in that way sometimes, but what I realize when I think about these last 10 or 12 years and I look at all of you, I think, you know what? It's not so much about that work, Kim. It's about the people. And it's about the relationship that we have with each other. And it's about our relationship with the one who made us. That's what we're doing here. To remember him and to honor him and to honor each other and the good feelings that we have here for each other as relatives. You know, that means more to me than any tape that I could put out there, any word list, is the relationships that I have with some of the people in this room. You know, those are the things that continue. And I wanted to say too that everybody has a role in this, and don't be afraid to find your place in this, because we need everybody. Each and everybody in this room, you're needed. And each and every one of you has a gift and a talent. And it may not be the same gift and talent that I have, or that Alice has, or that Bill has, but you have it for a reason. And to find what you're good at and what you can contribute to this language effort. And that way we're all working together, we're all bringing something to the table. And not to compete with one another, because it's not necessary. Because if we all do our part, then we have a functioning whole. And I believe that's possible with this group. This is a good group of people. This is a sincere group of people. I believe that. And I know that we sometimes get after each other, but I guess we're always going to be that way. We're always going to have that human part of us, conflicts and criticism of each other. You know, criticism of each other is okay, but let's do it in a way that says, I love you and I respect you first. And that's why I'm saying this, because I think you might need to hear it. And I open myself up to that first. You know, I'm always welcome my elders or my teachers to tell me if I'm doing something wrong. If I'm not saying something in a good way, or if I'm making mistakes. Jim was trying to inject a little humor into my speech. He wanted me to call you all Gunazajik. Oh boy. I just have to laugh, because those are the things that have made this all worthwhile, is those humorous parts of it. Those are real connections to the language. I hope that we hear some stories while we're here from our speakers. I hope that we hear some things that make us laugh and that touch our hearts and our minds. I was thinking last night, I remember the word for monkey, damakmeshi, because there's a story attached to it, a funny story. Jawika nawamasi damakmeshi. I never see monkeys, so I don't have any occasion to use that word, but I remember it because of the story that's attached to it. There was a mix-up about, this is one of Jim's stories, a mix-up about some of the elders who were listening to the radio before they had television, and they kept talking about democracy, one of the world wars, and making the world safe for democracy, and the spread of democracy around the world, and how great democracy was. And I guess these two old men, one of them looked at the other one and they said, "Why are they talking about democracy?" I always remember that. I could just picture that. And there's confusion there. Who is this democracy? So I remembered that word, not that I, have occasion to use it, but because there's something attached to it that I remember. So the use of the language in that way is something that, if we can find a way to enter into it that is humorous, or that is easy for us, or something that has some relevance and meaning for us. And I was talking to Lou this morning, and we're kind of on the same page, wanting to move things along a little bit, and wanting to engage ourselves more and be more, push ourselves past our current level of fluency, which I feel I've kind of been at the same level for a while. So we were talking about that this morning and just the importance of hearing our speakers. And I've been away from my speakers for years now, and that's my own fault. You know, I made some choices that took me away from that. So, but I've been doing what I can do where I am to keep it going and to work on what I can and get it out there. Right now I work for the tribe in Mount Pleasant, which has been interesting. And what I've noticed, I've noticed some things about how we learn language and just from being more of an outsider in that situation, be able to see things differently. And what I don't understand is this, the argument over dialect seems to me a little ridiculous at this point. And let me give you an example. I was hired to coordinate their Ojibwe language program, which I thought was odd that they had to hire a Potawatomi to do that for them. But God works in mysterious ways, I guess. So I was glad to be working with the language anyway, Nishnawemo, and learn what I could there. But so I had to do this bingo game for the elders in the community, and it was my first time meeting their elders. You know, they were in their senior center where they have their lunch, and I was nervous. I thought, oh boy, I better not screw up because you only first impressions here. So I made my little bingo game, and I thought we had just simple words on there like Yusa, he's hunting. So I thought, okay, so I got out my Minnesota Ojibwe dictionary and I looked up the word for hunting, and it said Eosa, which is pretty close, right? But I put it down, Eosa, and then I was calling out under the B, Eosa, and this one, the Moya in the back said, hey, we're Chippewas here. We don't say that, we say Yusa. Oh, really? I didn't say anything, but I thought about that, and I thought, that's funny. It's funny. It's just one letter. I said, that's how we say it, Yusa. And she's telling me I'm an Ojibwe, and we say Yusa. So I said, okay, well, we're on the same page then, aren't we? So I got a little flack for that because they think that I'm trying to teach them Potawatomi. But luckily we found some speakers there, a lady who still knows their local dialect. And what I've been finding is that from hearing her and speaking with her, is that a lot of the ways that she says things are the same way we say them. Not everything, but just certain words. Mano and Gishbin and certain words are the same way that we say them. So if I said to her, well, B, you're speaking Potawatomi, which I wouldn't say to her, because I want to keep my job. You know, she would probably say to me, well, you're speaking Chippewa. So the point is, sometimes there's such minor differences in our dialects. So we need to stop arguing about that. When it comes just to one letter, like in that case, well, we say it this way. Well, we say it this way over here. I'm going to tell you, we don't have time to be arguing about that anymore. If we had 100 speakers, then we could argue about it. But we don't. So let's not argue about those little minor things anymore. And I was one of those people. Who used to argue about that stuff. About one letter. And I don't think we have time for it anymore. I think that's important to have our differences in our dialects and to recognize that. But when you're talking about creating new speakers, we just have to go with what we have and the language that is out there and is being shared. If you don't have any speakers left of your local dialect, you really can't be arguing about it anymore. I want to apologize if I ever offended anybody in this room with that line of argument. about differences in dialect and how we say it over here and we say it over here. You know, we're all the same in this room. We're all Potawatomi. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but you know, we don't have time to do it. Dialect. However, there is a difference between that and just plain wrong. I will have to throw that in there. Like, you can't just make up stuff because you don't know it. There's a difference there. I'm not saying just anything goes here. And grammar, you know, that has a definite pattern there. Rules that have to be followed. So I'm not just saying anything goes here, but I guess what I'm trying to say is Minowi Doktadwood, that idea of togetherness and looking at our differences and what we all have to offer to this effort, and being confident in that, in what you have to offer, and bringing it to the table, and not being afraid to work together and to do what you can do. Because each of you in this room can do something for this language. And it's not going to be the same thing that the person next to you can do, but it's needed and it's important. So, I guess that's it. Yujana.
Okay, I get one more duty today. I get two more duties. One is to I get to introduce our MC, Jason. Jason Weesaw is going to be our MC for the weekend's activities. Jason's on a errand right now. Jason, do you want to go ahead and jump into it, or want to wait a second?
Yeah, we might as well jump into it.
All right. Okay. Well, it's good to see everyone, and Jason Weesaw is our cultural coordinator. He directs the cultural program at Pokagon Band. Jason's been a real good person in that position. We've had good people in that position in the past. I don't want to offend you, John. My cousin John previously had that position. But Jason, you want to come on up? I've vamped long enough for you here, Jason.
Okay, is good. Jason Weesaw, Indigenous, Bodewad, Meendau, Pokagon, Bindagwis, Shike, Ondorem. Can't hear me? Pokagon, Namikchewi, Cultural Associate, Odopi. I don't want to talk too long because I think by the end of the week you guys are going to hear me talk enough. They asked me to be the MC for the gathering and for mainly the powwow part. So for this language part, I just came here to listen, and I think that's really important. And seeing all these young ones around here, even though they're running around playing and kind of doing their own thing, at least they're around here. They're going to be able to hear this language, which I never heard until I was in my 20s. So having these young ones around here, you know, that's what we need. Our fluent speakers are here, and our young ones are here. Those of us that are in the middle, and there's a lot of us that do it to varying degrees, but we're just here to work and try and help this thing along. So I'm just going to make some quick announcements here, and so everybody knows kind of what the plan for today is, and we'll get into our presentations. Let's see here. starting at 10 o'clock. And it's what, 9:30 now or 10 o'clock? Quarter to 10. We'll probably take a little break and run on Anishinaabe time, but from 10 to 11:30, Billy and Jim will be here in this room. Then we'll break for lunch. I believe lunch is on your own. I think that's how it's going. Session 2 is going to be from 2:30 to 3:30. And room 1, JP Montano and Barb and Ted. There's no notes here of what people are going to be presenting on, so just bear with us. In room 2, Laura Bassard will be in there, and in room 3 we'll have Helen Roy. Tonight here in the main room, we're going to be doing Shishiba, or language bingo, at 6 p.m. And I think most of you have probably played it before, so we hope that everybody comes out and joins us. We got some really nice gifts for the language bingo this year, traditional gifts, gas cards, just some things that everybody can either really use on their mantle or really use in their pocket. So yeah, it's just really good to see everybody out here. Last year was my first year in this circle, so to speak, and I'm really glad to see you guys all again, and hope that I get a chance to talk with you over the week. For right now, if there's anything that you guys need out of us, just ask me or Jessica or Matthew or just any of us from the band here that can help you, because for the week you guys are our guests, so we want to make sure that we take care of you as best as we can. So if there's anything you need, just let us know. For right now, I'll just say welcome. Minutes, we'll meet back up here. Initially get to know everybody, and the sessions out there were, you know, it seemed like there was a lot of real basic Potawatomi, and just some classes about, you know, talking about names and places and spirituality, and all those things were really good. And as we came back here and took on the conference ourselves, we started talking about what do people want out of these conferences, and a lot of what they want, from what I heard, was they wanted materials and they just wanted to hear people speak the language. Next 3 days, in the morning, we're going to have our fluent elders come up and just speak the language so that we can hear it, and we can hear their stories and hear their words. And this morning we're going to have Billy and Jim. Tomorrow morning we'll have Don up here, and Wednesday we're going to have Lou and Lyman up here. So with no further ado, I want to welcome up Billy and Jim.
Anishinaabe, Moses Negogon. Kagina do Kandam go there, Anishinaabe one. Kagma in Indos Bia, Miskosen. Or there is Nakadak Tomokman, Wisconsin. I can no maget in Indo, I can no ma. Or there, Anishinaabe one. Kakya se during the cars. Mishum snaben again the cars was going. And he mean Goyan or the Nisnabenos one. Get there back to go there, Nisnaback. Get the Nisnaback. I keep here go again on. Have no more to go there. Chuck I just get Nisnaback no way. Or the Nisnabe one. And no enough do I go Gaginan. Gaginan and Nisnabe go. Kabi sket the Nisnabe. But no way. Kabi just sket. So I get over there. Nagad order kaginan and the motor we go. And I kaginan, and we couldn't go to Upski wet. Yeah, acquire not more than if catchy. To damn jay our canoe. We know to damn out. This week, do damn. Out there. Get where it's in the cook, Mashom Snanak. Go to cheek work, and go to do damn yow, what. Go in Moajo or can win airs more to get you. Why is it?
We have said we should speak Polish, so Pozioski. Pozio, then we mark this. Then when it can in this in the cast, I went in my shum seven. Or the nose one gave me in Mexico gave the old guys. Because pag naskagal wat smagnishin. Kivito kwawan ni gigaboyin. Gigabo knows when I give in koyan. It's not being in Dagok there, but give you what you Kansas. You see, you're going to go on wing with him. I'm going into them, or what say. And again, you Wisconsin get into it via West Xinyak. Xinyan neer, dus na kan we dan ook de zatken neer. Go zo zatken in de snacks again. Again, in an order out at Kendama or Shishmon. You know, was it scheduled and we Piedor go. It was option gusuk. You see, I got to what could get Yajak. Get to go to Shishmon is not a even get to go. So I couldn't snabbash Kevin. When we will name them ago. Again, I got to what could get Yajak. Again, you get done getting out of Shishmon. Skakilkum got a gate in his yarn. So born the ordinance. TV in up ne. No kak ken de man PBK way on smoke man one. Nishpan again get simak jo get smoke man was sick. Yeah, got a skatan away kito yarn. When you get on my shops to control get in the sinako. Peter away smoke man me ya. Cause you not was like it or not muggy and get smoke man moment. Jitna. So now I can them up. If you guys wouldn't show it, cause yak, just more yak. Pemads it. Put out me. We, so we can work or the kick it on. As just me go. To go again and up some of the wind get to go. Keep quiet. What can the go to Shishmon go to Najayak Engus? So my wife would go up Moximan or the gym dog it could walk. I can go my way to Moayak, not go to West Kitchen and the West Kitchen. Skazok now. And know the Moas there. It was smoke man Moat. Dat shit kills it now. We can't Moat now. Or the Shishmon now. We kick to it now. They go in and kill. Here got Diego Yak. Jessica Near and Shui Kajan Nazak Snagay and Kumajan or Shishmon. Minina window. Do up the marks in Natasha's go. Every went, not every went, but a quarter which can't mock. Again, sort of another more. We are jumping again. Ah,
Koi as mop kaji ganin. Aji panojewayan. Ye panagi no man ota snabay man. Ota wat me one. Track ko ngibye ko. Kagi skin goyan ora no sapanagi mansat. I mean Mishomas. I mean just Kevin wa. Pana I keep here you want or in a snap one. So he's going to sick was that day mina 9 a.m. And yeah, penny give you an old man or the snap one. Kaga again in gin gaton or the Baba Smagnus Syrian. And I have to give you a giveaway on. And I have to mina. I stood to what good seemak that mina 9 a.m. And I have in a give it the man order the snabam one. Kavia go young in or in no span. Pete Gayan go see where the snabam at mot. Window yon order gagin. Kaya nang kami ko mamagos na o rin snabay man potewan mi man. Ye kabes no to wag gawin wa. Ye don't just kayan go. Go di dom go na ko. O so te amina go di na go di jepwek. Ani me to wat dom go na ko. We don't walk every one. I'm in getting on now and mad moyak. I be a water, Nick conduct, Nick consider. Every one, be we do kage what. I be not what, or the penaz and roots can go. And do mogo go to Nato count up the triax from a camera, Missy one. Yeah, kabes no do wa kabia so with magoyan sisna or kimanek kani na was be a for the one me scorn ganak kimanek national bam one kawin wa where a koe I just want to say a little bit of what I said here. When I was a child, that's all I heard is that language. My father and mother never went to school, so that's all I heard. I got 2 sisters that live now, and I lost 1 sister, and I lost 2 brothers. So, well, Jim trying to keep this up, this language, and we try to get the people to come to language classes, and it's hard for us to do that. And a lot of them don't want to try to learn it. I guess I don't know what's wrong, but we can't force them to learn it. But we always tell them it's important for us as we are as Indians to know your language, because that's who you are, and that was given to you. The language is given to you by the Great Spirit. And there's a lot of stories that was told to us while we was youngsters. So that's what I said. And it's good to know all these things, you know, are Todemanak, at Kingdom Walk, we got Kapiego Yak, at Kingdom Makjak, that water, or the National Bear, at Totgawin. We are where I said it's good to teach this to our young ones and ones that don't know the language and the life of an Indian, the life of the Potawatomi, a clanship, and how the relationship runs, and who to marry, who not to marry. It's really hard right now for us. We have to go out somewhere else, like Dibways or Winnebagos or Sioux country, or to seek, if you're not married, to seek a wife, because we're all related. We're all related in Wisconsin, even here we have relation. Kansas. We always have to go out. I say this much, but I don't know what they want here. Maybe they want us to tell stories or tell stories. Well, I want to tell a joke in Potawatomi here. You know, Indians always have a lot of humor, but to say it in Chimokwan, they take out all that humor out. Well, I want to tell a joke here. Godak gun Mr. Agino Duat. Got Koes here, Agi Piam Bachuat, Akim Bachuat, Odan Mishomas. Yajamoat. Odan got Koes here. And not to what order. I need you here. What did you hear? Politics. Oh, Panan. Panan with money, no talk to politics. I wasn't going to go as he. She, Odanak Shayan. We're going to cook 6 times a day. But big jay out here, cook course. Well, yeah. We're going to hear Sean Ginn. What is now Yakamat Muk? Sean K. Politics, you know. Oh, and here is. So that is again, as more daughter. Mistake when and as more go to Koazik, Tipapiak. I want to say this in English, this joke I told. There was 2 old men he used to visit all the time, visit my grandpa. I could say there was another grandpa visiting each grandpa. Well, we were sitting there, but my sister overheard these. She was listening to them old men there talking, and this one old man spoke up. Well, what is that? Tumult went on and said, politics. All the time talking about politics. And this one old man spoke up. Oh, he said, when you go to town, he said, when you go in the store, drugstore, there's a can of medicine called salve, showing that salve has got a flat container, and then it's round. He said that's that lotion, that some salve that if you're sore somewhere or need a cut or something, you rub that on it. He said that's a politics. He said. So when you say it in Indian, it's really, it's got a lot of humor in it. That's what I said. But when you translate it to English, it takes all that humor out. So this is why you see a group of Indians maybe sitting at a table or somewhere, you know, they're always laughing, you know, telling them jokes, real short jokes, you know. But it's not, yeah, we know that one out more when, or the Nick Gunners.
How be any the end got jump. Oh, now,